here. That looks like that is working well. Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Happy Money Monday. All right, I think we're good to go. So, happy Money Monday, everyone. I wanted to do something a little bit different from what I normally do and come on here and talk about business plans. I did this presentation for my chapter. For those that don't know, I'm currently serving as the president of the Woodbridge Business Exchange. And I did this presentation a couple weeks ago and everyone seemed to enjoy it. So I thought that I would also share it with my Facebook community and see if it could help someone else as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you're watching the replay, please type in #replay, say hello so that I know you're here. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So for those that don't know me, my name is Bianca Guzman. I am a business coach and I am also an HR consultant, the owner of Divine Talent Connection. I grew up here in Virginia and I am so many things, but first I always like to talk about my faith because my faith is everything to me and that is a part of my business model. I'm definitely faith-driven, purpose-driven as well. I believe in walking in your purpose, and that doesn't necessarily have to be one specific thing or one specific moment in time, but it's definitely very important. I come from a military family. My dad was a Marine and he retired here in Quantico, Virginia, but we're still, military family. Once a Marine, always a Marine, right? I'm also a single mom. I have my son and he is my world and you'll get to see him in just a couple minutes. I'm also a homebody, so you can probably more than likely catch me at home almost all the time. I'm actually working from home right now. And so how amazing is technology, right? And I operate in 4D. If you know, you know. I like to say that I am very spiritual and I am very big on energy, positive energy, and that's pretty meaningful to me. So I'm always seeking to vibrate at a high frequency and learn more and more about that as I go through my journey. I love to cook. Cooking is one of my favorite things to do. I enjoy it. I love to eat, but I'd love to cook for my friends and family. So fun fact, one of my first businesses was actually a cheesecake business. So food is very important to all of us, I think we can say. And of course, we know that it's essential to have a healthy relationship with food, but I definitely am a lover of good food. And I'm always listening to music. I love 90s music. I love to just sit back and chill and probably almost always have music going in my house and in my car, and if I'm outside or just anywhere, I am listening to music, and that's something that is a constant in our household. And I love to read books. I'm a huge reader. I love to learn. I'm a big advocate for lifelong learning. So if you have a good book recommendation, feel free to send that over to me because I would love to read it. I do have a bad habit of starting to read books and then not finishing sometimes, so I'm working on that. But definitely send along any good book recommendations. And my happy place is the water. So I love to relax in a nice warm shower. As many of you know, water carries frequencies. So you can probably catch me in the shower pretty often if I'm trying to increase my mood and just make myself feel better. It's relaxing and just a great form of self-care. And I love the pool and I love beaches. Eventually one day I would love to have a beach house and live overseas somewhere near a beautiful beach. So that's a little bit about me. And now this is my tribe. So up in this left corner, you can see my mother. My mother passed away. We were actually in a car accident together. and she passed away at the young age of 21, 22. And I was in the car with her. So clearly there was a greater purpose for me, and she had served her purpose, but has gone on to do more amazing things in other places, I'm sure. And then down below, you can see my family. My family is everything to me. And then in this middle section, you can see my best friend and I, and then her daughter is on the other end. We have been best friends since I was 3. Well, since we were 3, we went to preschool together. So she is a big part of my tribe. And then down in this bottom section of the presentation, or the slide, I should say, you will see my kitties and my son Jalen. So those are my babies. On the left is Romeo, our newer kitten, and then on the right is Sashi. Sashi I'd had for about 10 years, and she recently passed away, so we miss her very much. And then up in the right corner, you can see my chapter that I serve as president in the Woodbridge Business Exchange. Those are some of our members. And then down in that bottom corner is some events that I went to with some of my amazing clients. All right. So just a little bit about my story. It's been a tremendous couple of years. So I've been a business owner for about 10 years, but this particular business, Divine Talent Connection, is about going on 3 years now. And so I just thought this was a really important piece, because this really tells the story of why a business plan is so important. So I actually started out in a basement apartment, this particular business, in a basement apartment. A lot of people don't know we were going through some really tough times in my personal life and just with my living circumstances due to ending a relationship. And so I ended up in a basement apartment, and it was in the height of the pandemic. That's when I started this business, and I was working out of the basement. And from there, about a year later, I moved into an office downtown with another business. I was incredibly blessed, and that truly speaks to the power of networking. And then in 2022, I moved into my own suite around the corner, also downtown. And if you are familiar with downtown, it's not cheap downtown to have an office suite. So I have truly been blessed with pretty quick growth. And I truly, I think that, again, that speaks to just God and his grace and mercy, and how he has just opened doors for me in my business, and he can do the same for you. And I say that because regardless of what your faith is, whether it's God or the universe or whatever you believe, we can truly have whatever our hearts desire. We just have to believe it in our mind. And so that's one of the things that I work on with my clients, is mindset first. So that's kind of where we're at with our actual location. And we have also grown our team. So I went from just being me within these last 2 years to growing my team to now I have an executive assistant, I have a social media and marketing intern, and then I also have a business consultant. So again, we have grown steadily but fairly quickly. And I definitely would say that that has to do with the fact that I have put together a business plan that I believe is kind of my way of manifesting. And that is critical in having a successful business, is having a plan and actually seeing that through. So, all right, let's get into what is a business plan. So a business plan is a formal written document with detailed goals and your methods to attain those goals, and then the time frames for which you are planning to achieve those goals. Okay. And then let's talk about why you need a business plan. So this is the important piece. I think a lot of people skip over this in their businesses because it's not always a priority, and many people don't understand the importance of it or know how to put together a strong business plan. But if you plan on growing the business or you plan on being sustainable and making it through those 3 critical first years of business, then this is definitely something that you need to have. So number one, why you should have a business plan is it's going to clarify your objectives and strategically plan and project your annual budget. So your business plan should always, always, always have a financial piece to it. And we prefer for that to be a little bit more detailed. So you should always have your projections and your financial pieces in the business plan as well. And number two, it identifies potential problems. So you have to make sure that you are researching and analyzing your market. You may hear things when you're talking about branding and marketing in terms of who's your target market, who is your client avatar. You need to know what your potential problems are going to be, what you could potentially be facing, so that you can be proactive instead of reactive. So we definitely want to put in that time, effort, and energy into the research and determining, okay, what could our problems be and what types of solutions can we prepare in case we face those problems. Number three, it communicates. So it's going to communicate your organizational mission, values, and that's supposed to say mission, vision, and values. So this is something that not everyone puts in their business plan because you may not know. You don't know what you don't know, right? But this is definitely something, especially with me having a background in human resources, that I want to make sure you incorporate into your plan so we can sit down and come up with your mission statement, your values, and your vision if you don't already have it. But it's going to be a great way to blend your recruitment strategy, which should be intentional, with your business plan. So whether or not you plan on growing the business in 2 years or 10 years, you want to have an idea of what that's going to look like. And this is also going to be really important in your branding and marketing strategy in terms of what does your company represent? Like, who are you and how are you expressing that to your market, your competitors, and the people that you are seeking to do business with? All right, up next, it's going to serve as a benchmark as your success roadmap and tracks your progress. So it's going to be something that you can refer back to say, okay, well, at this point, we wanted to be here. Okay, in 6 months, we wanted to be here. So it's really going to be something to help you use as a tool to gauge where you're at, what are your goals, how close are we to achieving those, and what are some things that we need to do in case we need to pivot and go in another direction for the foreseeable future, if that's what's needed. Number 5, it is an aid. So it's a valuable instrument in personal and professional growth. So it really allows you to sit down and analyze, where did you start out at? Where are you at now? Where are you going? I think it's something that's really important. Just like we talk about vision boards and we sit down and talk about our goals and manifesting things, you really want to have everything laid out in a visual form so that you can determine, okay, where did I start out? Have things changed? I always advise reevaluating your business plan at least once a year. My business plans are typically 3 to 5 years, but once a year we'll sit down and we'll kind of look at things and say, okay, this is where we started. Let's reevaluate this. This is what's happened in the last couple months. So what do we need to change around, if anything? So you definitely want to use that as an aid in your personal and professional growth. And then studies show that businesses that have or companies that have a plan grow 30% faster. So that's definitely a good thing to know, that if you sit down and you set these goals and you have these projections and you have a way of holding yourself accountable and something to refer back to, your success could be tremendously bigger than what it would have been without it. All right, now, when do you need a business plan? So I like to say that there are 3 typical points in your business when you need to have a business plan. So when you're starting your business, you want to have a business plan with detailed financial projections, especially if you plan on collaborating with someone. So you definitely want to be able to have an idea of, okay, what are things going to cost? What's our pricing model going to be? You need to know the numbers. That's very, very important. And then when you're scaling your business, so once you're growing, you want to have an idea of what is recruitment going to look like? What are our engagement and retention plans? So you want to be able to sit down and again, go into this because it is a big step. A business is not easy. And most businesses do not make it past 3 years. So you really want to make sure that you have these plans in place. And then succession planning. So if you're selling or transitioning your business, you need to have a plan because whoever's going to invest in buying your business wants to see, okay, how is this going to be beneficial to me? So those are 3 steps, starting, scaling, and succession planning, succeeding when you need to have a business plan. All right, now which elements go into a business plan? So these are some of the critical pieces that are going to go into your business plan, but this is not everything that's going to go into your business plan. So the critical elements that are going into your business plan are going to be your executive summary. That's basically an overview of the entire plan. So if someone looks at that executive summary, they want to have an idea of what is in this entire plan. Now, one of the first questions that I ask people or a potential client that comes to me is, how long is your business plan? I don't want to see a business plan that is 1 to 2 pages. If it's 1 to 2 pages, I'm probably not going to take you serious. Now, that's something that's okay to start out with, but as you grow and if you have the intentions on having a successful, sustainable business, you need to have way more than a 1 to 2 page plan because you need to have details. So I'm typically looking for a business plan that's anywhere between, I would say, 20 to 50 pages. That's how I know that, okay, we're on the right path. So your executive summary is going to have that summary of the plan, and then we want your business description. So what do you do? What is your business all about? Give me an explanation on what is the purpose of this. Then we're going to get into your branding strategy. So that's what I mentioned earlier. Who are you? What does your business represent? And I think that's something that a lot of businesses don't have an understanding of. What is branding and what does that mean? And then how do we express that to our audience? You need to know who you want to serve in order to know how you're going to express that to your audience. So that branding strategy is very important. Your marketing plan. So marketing, once you've figured out who you are, who you want to serve, your marketing strategy is how do you express that to your audience? So are we going to be using ads? Are we going to be using word of mouth? Are we going to be using a referral network? So that's you developing a plan on, okay, now we know who we are, but how do we express that to our audience and make it something memorable? How do we tell our story? And then we're going to get into our operation structure. So how is your business being run? What are the things being done on the back end? What systems are we going to have in place? What is our plan to ultimately run our business and make sure that it is sustainable and successful? And then, of course, we talked about financial projections. You want to have graphs and you want to have all the numbers in terms of your pricing and any services and products that you offer, and the numbers in terms of, okay, how many do we expect to sell per day, per month? How many units? So depending on the industry that you're in, you need to know those numbers and you need to include that into your business plan as well. So again, this is not everything that goes into your business plan, but this is definitely the critical pieces that you should always have in there. Okay, so who should have a business plan? So everyone should have a business plan, honestly, but I've broken it down into these 3 groups or multiple groups so that you can identify with some of these groups. So if you're a small business owner, if you are a low income business owner, if you're a women-owned business, a minority-owned business, or a veteran-owned business, you need to have a business plan. Now, keep these in mind because I'm going to get back to this in just a second. So those are the categories of who needs to have a business plan. Okay, now why are those important? Those are important because now we're going to talk about how do you use that business plan. So if you're in any of the groups that I just mentioned, based on those categories, there are going to be certain grants that you're eligible for. So if you go and get certified as a women-owned business, or if you go and get certified as a minority-owned business, whatever categories you qualify for, then there are going to be specific grants that you're eligible for. Now, this is not just limited to grants. So grants are free money that you can get from an organization. It could be statewide, federal. It could also be through nonprofits. And believe it or not, there are actually some organizations that may not give you money, but they will give you pro bono services. And that could be based on what type of business you are. So they're going to ask you, they're going to have an application process, and they may ask you, okay, what type of business are you registered as? Are you registered as an LLC? Are you registered as a sole proprietorship? So you need to know how you've structured your business, and then you need to be able to tell them what you're certified as. So let me give you an example. If I'm married and I am a minority, I'm also a woman, obviously, and if I have a husband and he is a veteran, if he owns 51% of the company, then this is now qualified as a veteran-owned business. We're also going to be considered a woman-owned business and a minority-owned business. But if someone has 51%, which would be the husband, then we're now qualified as a veteran-owned business, which means we would be eligible for those types of grants. Now, if it's just me as a woman-owned business, minority-owned business, those are the grants that I would be eligible for. And of course, there's fine print sometimes. You have to look into that. But there could be possible money that you're leaving on the table by not having your business properly structured. And those are things that you should have in your business plan. You should have readily available if you go for funding and they ask you these types of questions. So you can get grants, you can get different types of pro bono services, and then there's also business loans. So one of the things I talk about pretty often is business financing. So by that, I'm not referring to going to the bank and taking out a business loan that's in your personal name or backed by your social security number, or what they call a personal guarantee. I'm talking about having separate business credit that's only using your EIN and your business name. So you would take that and then you would go and apply for a business loan. You're going to need to have a business plan for that as well. Some banks will require it, some won't. I've been to some banks that did ask for my business plan. I went to others that didn't. Now, I personally prefer to always have that business plan so that they can review it, and it'll give me a little bit of leverage in terms of saying, hey, I have a plan and this is what's going to be used, or this is what we're going to use the money for. And then investors. So you also want to have a business plan if you want an investor, whether it's someone to come in and be an investor in your business. Or I had a client the other day that was actually going to the bank and planning on purchasing a second business, and they needed to have a business plan as part of those requirements. So sometimes, whether it's a business loan, whether it's an investor, whether you're going to buy another business, whether you're applying for something for the business, whether you're applying for grants, they will sometimes ask you for your business plan as a requirement in order to get the financing or whatever it is, the services that you're looking for. So I do highly recommend having this in advance. Of course, you can change it over time if needed, but if you plan on anything financial, you're more than likely going to need to have this business plan. So it's not just about having a plan for your business and setting those goals, but there's so many ways that you can leverage other people's money, or you can use this to get free money to support your business. So the reason we talk about grants so much is because it's going to free up your revenue. So the grant is going to bring in extra money for you that you don't have to pay back, to then free up your revenue to do other things. Same thing with a business loan. You would be able to go and get a loan. You would be able to free up your cash flow because now you have that loan coming in, and you can use that for payroll, or if you need to get equipment, whatever it is you need. So instead of using your own money, your own cash, you're able to leverage using other people's money, which is very important, whether it's, you're trying to hire someone to outsource the work, or you want to put in some systems in place to have that passive income going, have your business automated and the workflows going. These are things that could really help you. Okay. All right. So case studies. So I always like to have a case study just to show you what the power of having a business plan can do, as well as what business credit can do. So over here on the left, I have DTC, which is my business. So I have used my plan, which was created before my business was even up and running, to leverage $48,000 in business credit. Now, these are not just lines of credit in terms of loans or in terms of credit cards. These are actual trade lines that I have been able to leverage. So just some examples, I've been able to get Amazon, Staples, Quill, and Floor & Decor. And they were very simple to get, but it does take time. It does require that you have a business plan, for my recommendation, and then the knowledge in terms of learning how to build business credit properly and leverage that for your business. Then I also myself individually was able to sign my first $20,000 contract for course creation and training and consulting. So that's not me actually doing the work. That's just me teaching someone, educating someone on what to do. So had I not had that business plan in place, I would not have gotten up to that goal, because of course that is not the price that I started out at. But because I had a strong business plan, I had a goal, I could see it, I could look at it and then visualize it and then make it happen. That's what led me to that point. So $20,000 contract for one client for just a couple weeks of teaching them what to do. And then finally, I had a client that was able to leverage $15,000 in pro bono services. So because they had their business properly structured, and then they had a business plan in place, they knew where they were, where they wanted to go, they were able to use that, submit it, put in an application for pro bono services, and they now have free legal advice from attorneys. They have accounting services, graphic design services, and marketing and SEO services. So if you are in business, you know that those are some critical services that you may eventually need, especially as you scale. And to be able to have those services at no cost to you is a huge accomplishment. So those are some of the things that we've been able to do with having a strong business plan and then leveraging our business credit. Okay. And I just wanted to provide a testimonial. So this is one of my amazing clients, and they said Bianca embodies professionalism, courtesy, attention, and dedication. Her coaching program is one of the best programs out there. As a recipient of her passion for coaching, my business has excelled in growth and revenue. Under Bianca's strict guidance and instruction, I would highly recommend Divine Talent Connection as a vendor for business services and as an investment that will seriously pay off. So we appreciate all of our amazing clients and the work that they do, and just trusting us with our services as well as we continue to grow and serve the community. All right, so we actually have a limited time offer. If you would like more information about business coaching, for a limited time, I am going to put together a group coaching workshop, and we're going to sit together and hold each other accountable and get some networking in and just talk about what needs to go into your business plans, kind of like a meeting of the minds where we'll sit down and talk about what needs to go in your plan, and then how do we use that to leverage the goals that we have in our businesses. So if you would like more information about that, please send me a message. I typically don't take messages, work business messages in my DM, but I would gladly make the exception tonight for Money Monday. Please reach out to me and let me know that you're interested in hearing more about the upcoming workshop that I have for business plans. Again, it's going to be a limited time. It'll be in a group setting, and my business plans typically are going to run you around the price range of starting out at 3 to 5K. So this will be a significantly reduced price because it will be a group setting. But I highly encourage you to reach out. Let me know if you have any questions, if you'd like to hop on a discovery call, and we can get you into that group coaching. And I can tell you right now, it will be less than $1,000. I have figured out a price point that I think is affordable for our small businesses, entrepreneurs. And I'm excited to offer that for a limited time. So again, I will have payment plans available, and the investment is no more than $1,000. But if you send me a message, we can go over that, and I will gladly get you that information. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Good night.